In today's video, we're going to talk about 5 mistakes that I've made in agency life. So bear with me, this may be a bit longer than normal, and this is me being vulnerable and admitting to things, so hopefully it won't get messy. Let's hope that. All right, the first thing that makes me shudder when I remember it is charging way too little. Now, I can understand why I did, because the cost of entry to building a website nowadays or to graphic design seems to be forever plummeting. You've got services like 99 Design, you've got freelancers on Upwork that will happily charge an extortionately low rate to build a website. So in my mind, I thought, oh, I'm gonna have to compete on price. So I went right there from the beginning, way too low. Thankfully, my savior was mathematics, where I eventually worked out after about 2 months and realizing there wasn't much money in the bank and I had all this work, I realized that there was no way I could possibly work enough hours to pay all of the bills at the rates I was charging for the projects that I was charging. It was just a mathematic impossibility. I wouldn't even be able to afford to pay anyone else to help me. So I instantly had to quadruple my rates on the spot, which was hard, and I had to go and find some new clients because obviously the people I had attracted were certainly not interested in that rate. And then over time I realized that even quadruple my rates was still ridiculously low for a web project. It freed up some time, but it certainly didn't help me grow the agency. So first mistake was charging too little, not valuing what I had, and also not niching down, because the minute I niched down, I had a particular niche, if you're American, I had a particular industry that I was going for, then I could set myself as someone who was an expert in that industry. I could charge a premium for the work that I was doing, and then I could focus on that work as well and produce really good work, because I was being paid a lot more money, which meant I could put a lot of the time into getting everything right, getting everything rocking and rolling. So charging too little was a massive mistake. Please don't compete on price. Web development is a highly valuable product, and if you are in a niche of some sort, then you are worth the money. And I still need to remind myself that every single day, because there are times when I panic when I see what I'm quoting and I devalue myself in an instant. So please don't devalue yourself either. It's tough. Next one is not creating a product brief or a product spec, whatever you call it. The idea is you have a client that comes to you and they tell you what they want, and you're like, you know what? Boom, I totally get this. I understand exactly what you need. We don't even need to write a product spec. It's going to cost you this. Let's get started. And I've done that. I've done it quite a few times. It frustrates me to know that, I've made that mistake so many times. And what happens is when I then say, hey, the website's finished, look, let's have a look at this, etc. The client will then say, well, where's this feature, or why does it do that when I press this button? And I'm like, well, you never said that. And then the client's like, well, we said that in such and such a call, etc. And all I've done is just created this huge gray area. There's nothing written down on paper. There's no agreements. And when you do that, it's just going to create a toxic relationship. The client's going to be upset because they feel like you've not understood what they want. You're going to be upset because you feel like the client's taking the mick and trying to get more for the money, etc. And I've had many projects in the past over the last 10 years that have gone south, gone sour, because we didn't take the time and invest the time in creating a good brief where the client and ourselves would sign off on what was being developed. Leading on from that, the third mistake is saying yes, and saying yes to a real small change. So you may have got your product brief all set up and you've got the security of that, but saying yes to a very slight change and doing it for free has been a massive mistake that I've made multiple times. I'm a nice guy, I want to please the client, and when they say, well, could you just add this button here, or just have a little email notification sent to me when that happens, and I think in my head, yeah, that's only going to take me seconds, and that's going to really please this client. By doing that, many times, not all the time, but many times, it's created an extra admin screen that I wasn't even thinking was going to happen. It's created a new bug, it's created lots more work, and I've got to fund that for free because I've just said yeah, and I've said I'll do it as part of the project. So whenever the client asks for anything, no matter how trivial or how small, from now on, what we do is say, well, that sounds like a change control, and we're going to explore what you need. We're going to write down what you need. We're going to analyze it, work out what it will affect. And we're also going to quote you for that change control. So there'll be some monetary value attached to that with the written changes so that the client is signing off and agreeing what we're going to do. And we've all taken enough time to ensure that it's not going to impact on anything else. So don't say yes straight away. I still fight this urge, to be honest, because it's that inside you just want to be that nice guy. You want to really help them out and make their day by saying, yes, we'll do that cool thing. So I have to stop myself every single time. The fourth mistake is not setting clients' expectations as to what's going to happen after the website's gone live. So that means doing things like your updates. What happens? Who's responsible for the updates? What's the warranty on the code? So for example, if we've built you a theme and a plugin, etc., how long are we going to provide warranty? What happens when a major version of WordPress comes out and there's a big update, etc.? Because obviously WordPress will depreciate certain functions and all of that stuff. So we've very often in the past gone live with a website and there's been no understanding from the client and nothing communicated from us to say this is what's going to happen post live. So now obviously what we'll do is we create a contract for post live and the care plan, and we explain what will happen if you're not on the care plan and what the client's responsibilities are, etc., and how much we would charge if we're going to fix anything for them. So that's post live or what's covered under some form of code warranty. And then also we'll explain what the differences are if they come over with a care pack as well. And having a care plan, some sort of yearly support package, is obviously great for revenue, but it's also great for keeping in touch with your client throughout the year, and it will eventually lead on to more business as well. So we were missing out on something that would make the client feel good, safe and secure, but also B, on something that would potentially generate more revenue. So this is something we always do now. We've done it for the last few years, saying this is what's going to happen after your site goes live. The choice is yours, but at least we've educated the client so they know what's going to happen. All right, number 5, the last one, and this is not by means least, and I'm sorry if you can hear the drilling, but we're just going to have to keep going. We've relied too heavily on plugins. So I've had a client brief come in and I've relied too heavily on a plugin, not putting enough time into research, thinking, right, what does this plugin do? Does it meet all of the client's needs? Is the plugin going to be well supported by the author? Is the plugin widely used? Is this author even going to be around for much longer? We don't know. So I've put too much reliance on a plugin. I've done a quote. We've then gone ahead to build the website, and then we found that the plugin doesn't do what it was advertised to do. The plugin has been really poorly written and it's created tons and tons of issues. Or even I've just not put enough research and time in, and I don't even know how to use the thing, so I'm spending hours trying to work out how to use it to do what the client needs. So those things will end up costing money, and they've cost us money in time, in research, in trying to fix terrible plugins, or even having to start from scratch because the plugin just was not up to scratch, and it was my fault because I didn't spend enough time making sure it's the right plugin, making sure it was well coded, etc. Just relying too much. So now what we try and do is build sites that pretty much use as little as we can in the realm of plugins for add-ons. And if we're going to use anything, it's only something that we know so well that it makes sense to use it. So for example, advanced custom fields, yeah, we would use that. Pods framework, yes, we would use that. But if someone brings us a membership plugin that we've never seen before, we're going to either have to charge them for lots of research or just say no to protect ourselves. Okay, so that's 5. By no means least, I bet I'm going to do more videos. Again, apologize today. There's a Walmart being built outside, so unless I go and ask them all to shut up, which I don't think is a wise decision, we're just going to have to put up with a little bit of drilling. If you are not a WP innovator, why don't you head on over to the Facebook group, because there are tons of designers, WordPress enthusiasts, WordPress developers, website builders, digital agencies, design agencies, marketing agencies. There's a lot of people basically in there. Obviously, great place to check out pictures, but also it's a great place to talk about WordPress, to talk about your problems that you are struggling with building websites, the problems you may have as an agency, and also to share your wins and celebrate together. So head on over, that's wpinnovator.com/group. There is a link in the show notes. Also, we run a weekly podcast. This week's episode was with Sarah Moore. It's freaking amazing, head on over to wpinnovator.com/podcast. If you liked this video, let's do the YouTube thing and like and subscribe. We'll see you tomorrow.